The moment she said it, everything inside me went still. "Get this beggar away from the table." She said it loud, clear, like I wasn't even human, like I was something dragged in off the street. I felt every eye in the room shift, then drop. My son didn't look at me. He just stared at his plate like I wasn't sitting right there. My grandson froze, fork in the air. And me? I just sat there, holding a napkin in my hands, trying to understand how I had become a stranger at my own family dinner. It was in Plano, Texas. In the big stone house my son, Daniel, liked to call his forever home. Funny thing was, there wouldn't have been a house at all if I hadn't emptied half my retirement to help him with the down payment 3 years earlier. I never asked for thanks, never asked for my name on anything. He was my only boy. After my wife Carol died, helping Daniel felt like the only thing I still knew how to do. His wife, Vanessa, stood at the head of that table with a tight smile on her face. One hand wrapped around a wine glass, the other resting on the back of my chair like she was deciding whether to tip it over. She was dressed like company was coming, though this was supposed to be family only. Candlelight, folded napkins, roasted chicken, green beans with almonds. All of it arranged so pretty around the ugliest sentence I'd heard in my 74 years. "Vanessa," I said, quiet as I could, "I think you've made a mistake." She gave a little laugh. "Have I? Then maybe you can explain why you showed up looking like that." I looked down at my coat. Old, yes. Frayed at the sleeve, yes. I'd come straight from the bus stop in the cold because Daniel had told me on the phone, "Dad, please come. Mason's been asking for you." I hadn't even had time to go back to my apartment and change. My grandson, Mason, whispered, "Mom, stop. Stay out of it," she snapped. Daniel still said nothing. That hurt worse than her voice. Because silence from your own son, that does something to a man. It tells him exactly where he stands without making a sound. Vanessa leaned closer and lowered her voice, but not enough. "You should have called first. We're not doing this anymore. Not the drop-ins, not the sad stories, not the looking around like you still belong here." I felt my face go hot. "Sad stories?" She straightened up. "Don't make me say it in front of the child." That was when Daniel finally moved. He reached for his glass, took a sip, and muttered, "Dad, maybe tonight just isn't a good night." I turned and looked at him. Really looked at him. The same boy I taught to shave. The same boy I sat beside in an emergency room when he broke his arm at 12. The same boy who cried in my chest at Carol's funeral, and he couldn't even meet my eyes. Then Mason pushed his chair back so hard it scraped across the floor. And what he said next made Vanessa go pale. "Mason, sit down," Vanessa snapped, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "No," he said, and there was something in his tone I hadn't heard before. Something steady, something grown. "You don't get to talk to Grandpa like that." The room went tight. You could feel it, like the air itself didn't want to move. Vanessa blinked, then gave a short, humorless laugh. "Excuse me?" "He's not a beggar," Mason said, louder now. "He's the one who helped you buy this house." That landed hard. Vanessa's grip on her wine glass tightened. "Daniel," she said, without looking away from Mason, "you want to handle this or should I?" But Daniel just sat there, frozen between them, between his son and his wife, between truth and whatever this was. "Mason," he said finally, low and strained, "you don't understand the situation." "No, I think I do," Mason shot back. "Grandpa helped us. You told me that. You said we wouldn't be here without him." Vanessa's eyes flicked to Daniel, sharp as knives. "You've been discussing finances with a child now." I felt something twist deep in my chest. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Not like this. "Mason," I said gently, "it's okay. Sit down, son." He looked at me, confused, hurt. "But Grandpa..." "It's okay," I repeated, forcing a small smile that didn't feel real. "Your mom's right about one thing. I should have called." Vanessa straightened, satisfied, like she just won something. There we go. Finally, some sense. But she wasn't done. She stepped around the table slowly, her heels clicking against the hardwood floor, each step deliberate, like she was putting on a performance. "You see, Harold," she said, saying my name like it tasted bad. "We've been very patient, very generous, but there comes a point when boundaries have to be respected." "Boundaries," I repeated quietly. "Yes," she said, crossing her arms. "You can't just show up here whenever you feel like it, expecting a seat at the table, expecting what?" I asked, looking up at her. Her smile thinned. "Expecting us to carry you." That word, carry, it echoed in my head. Because for 35 years, I'd worked double shifts at the plant in Dallas. Missed holidays, missed birthdays. All so my family would never have to worry about money, about security. And now I was being told I was something to be carried. "I never asked for that," I said. Vanessa tilted her head. "Didn't you?" Daniel shifted in his chair. "Vanessa, maybe we should just—" "No," she cut him off. "We're finishing this." My stomach dropped. "Finished what?" She reached over to the kitchen counter and picked something up, a small stack of envelopes, worn at the edges. Then she tossed them onto the table in front of me. They slid across the polished wood and stopped right against my folded hands. I stared down at them. And when I saw my name printed on the top one, my heart skipped, because I already knew what they were. But I had no idea how she got them. My fingers didn't move at first. They just rested there, on top of those envelopes, like they didn't belong to me anymore. The room was dead quiet. "Go on," Vanessa said softly. "Open them." I looked up at her. "Where did you get these?" She didn't even blink. "That's not the question right now." "It is to me." A thin smile stretched across her face. "Daniel gave them to me." That hit harder than anything else that night. I turned slowly toward my son. "You? What?" Daniel shifted again, rubbing the back of his neck like he used to when he was a teenager caught doing something he shouldn't. "Dad, I thought she should know what's going on." "What's going on?" My voice came out rough. "You went into my mail." "They were sitting out when I came by your place last week," he said quickly. "I wasn't snooping." But he didn't deny it. Didn't deny opening them. Didn't deny handing them over. I felt something inside me sink, deep and heavy. "Open them," Vanessa repeated, her tone colder now. So I did. The first envelope tore easier than I expected. Inside, a notice. "Past due. Final warning" stamped in red across the top. I didn't need to read the rest. The second one. Same thing. The third, worse. I could feel their eyes on me, waiting, judging. "Looks like you've been having some difficulties," Vanessa said, folding her arms again. "Bills piling up. Utilities, medical expenses, even a notice from the bank." I said nothing, because there was nothing left to say. "Yes," she continued, her voice rising just enough. "This is exactly what I meant. You come here, you sit at our table, and you act like everything's fine, while behind the scenes, you're drowning." "I never asked you for anything," I said quietly. "No," she snapped. "You just show up. You let us see it. You make it impossible not to notice." "That's not fair," Mason said, his voice shaking now. Vanessa turned on him. "You stay out of this." "No," he said louder. "You're embarrassing him." I closed my eyes for a second. Embarrassing him. Funny thing was, I wasn't even embarrassed anymore. I was tired. So damn tired. "I've handled my own life this long," I said, opening my eyes again. "I'll keep handling it." Vanessa let out a sharp breath. "Really? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're about one step away from asking to move in." That one cut deep. Because the truth was, I had thought about it. Just once. Late at night, when the apartment felt too quiet, and the numbers on those bills stopped making sense, but I never said it out loud. Never gave it life. Until now. I would never do that, I said firmly. Vanessa leaned in slightly, her voice dropping. Good, because it's not an option. Daniel flinched at that, just a little, but still. He said nothing. And that silence, it started to feel planned, like this whole thing wasn't happening by accident. I looked down at the letters again, then back up at her. You've been waiting for this, haven't you? She didn't answer right away, but the look in her eyes, that was answer enough. And then she said something that made the entire room shift again. Actually, this is long overdue. Overdue, I repeated, my voice barely holding steady. What exactly is overdue, Vanessa? She didn't hesitate this time. This conversation, she said flatly, this reality check, for you and for Daniel. Daniel's name hung in the air like a warning. I turned to him again. What is she talking about? He exhaled slowly, like a man who'd been carrying something too long and didn't know how to put it down. Dad, things have been complicated. Complicated, I said. You went into my home, opened my mail, handed it to your wife. And now I'm sitting here being talked to like I'm a burden. That's more than complicated. Vanessa stepped in before he could answer. You are a burden. Mason let out a sharp breath. Mom, enough, she snapped. That word cracked through the room like a whip. You don't get to rewrite this, she continued, her eyes locked on me. You've been leaning on Daniel for years. Maybe not directly, maybe not with your hand out, but it's always something. A favor, a call, a problem that somehow ends up here. I shook my head slowly. That's not true. Isn't it? She fired back. Who co-signed your last car? I froze, because I hadn't told anyone about that, not even Daniel. But then I remembered I had. Briefly. Over the phone. Months ago. I never asked him to, I said. But he did, she said sharply. And when something goes wrong with that, guess who it falls on? I looked at Daniel again. Is that what this is about? He hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. Answer me, I said, louder now. He rubbed his face, stressed, cornered. Dad, the bank called last week. They said if you miss another payment, it could come back on me. There it was. Finally. Not concern. Not care. Fear. You could have come to me, I said. I tried, he snapped suddenly, the first real emotion out of him all night. But every time I ask if you're okay, you just say, I'm fine. You shut me out. Because I didn't want this, I said, gesturing around the table. I didn't want to sit here and be dissected. Vanessa let out a cold laugh. Oh, please, this isn't about dignity. This is about consequences. Mason stood up fully now. You're being cruel. I'm being realistic, she shot back. Someone has to be. Then she turned back to me, and her voice changed. Softer, controlled, almost calm. That apartment you're in, she said. You can't afford it anymore, can you? I didn't answer. Didn't need to. She nodded slightly, like she just confirmed something she already knew. And the medical bills, she continued. They're not going away. My chest tightened, because now we were getting close to something I hadn't told anyone, something I'd kept buried. You don't know what you're talking about, I said. Her eyes sharpened. Don't I? She reached into her purse this time. Slow, deliberate. And when she pulled out that folded paper, I felt the blood drain from my face. Because that was something she was never supposed to see. My hands started to shake before I could stop them. Vanessa, I said, my voice low, warning. Don't. But she unfolded it anyway. Slow, careful, like she wanted every second of this. I think, she said, glancing down at the page, everyone deserves to understand the full picture. Give it back, I said, sharper now. Daniel looked between us, confused. What is that? Vanessa didn't answer him. She read. Stage 3, she began. The words hit the table like a gunshot. Mason frowned. Stage 3 what? Vanessa, stop, I said, louder now. But it was too late. Chronic lymphocytic leukemia, she continued, clear as day. Recommended treatment plan includes... Enough! I slammed my hand on the table, the plates rattling. Silence crashed in right after. Mason's face had gone pale. Grandpa? Daniel stared at me like he didn't recognize me anymore. Dad, what is she talking about? I couldn't look at him, couldn't look at either of them. Because this was the one thing I had left that was mine. I was going to tell you, I said quietly. When? Daniel demanded. After what? After it got worse? After... He stopped himself, his voice breaking just enough to betray him. Vanessa folded the paper neatly, like she hadn't just ripped something open that couldn't be closed again. This, she said calmly, is exactly why we're having this conversation. Mason shook his head, backing away from the table. No, this isn't how you talk about it. But Vanessa kept going. Treatment costs money, she said. A lot of money. And based on these, she tapped the stack of bills in front of me. You don't have it. I wasn't going to ask, I started. But you would have needed to, she cut in. Sooner or later. I looked at Daniel, really looked at him, waiting, hoping for something, for him to say, we'll figure it out, for him to just stand up and shut this down. But all he said was, why didn't you tell me? That was it. Not, I'm sorry. Not, are you okay? Just that. And in that moment, something inside me finally broke. I didn't tell you, I said slowly, because I already knew what it would turn into. Vanessa let out a quiet breath, almost like relief. Good. Then you understand. Understand what? Mason snapped. That this isn't sustainable, she said firmly. We have a child, a future. We can't take on something like this. Something like this. That's what I was now. I let out a small, dry laugh. 74 years on this earth, and I'd been reduced to a problem on a piece of paper. I never asked you to take anything on, I said. Vanessa's eyes locked onto mine. No, she said, but you were going to. And then she said the one thing that made everything fall into place. This is why I told Daniel we needed to handle it tonight, before you had the chance. Handle it, I repeated, my voice hollow now. That's what you call this? Vanessa didn't flinch. Yes. Daniel finally stood up, chair scraping hard against the floor. Okay, enough. This has gone too far. But it hadn't. We all knew it hadn't. Because nothing had actually been fixed, only exposed. Too far? Vanessa turned to him, her tone tightening. This is exactly as far as it needed to go. You've been avoiding this for weeks. Daniel ran a hand through his hair, pacing once, then stopping. Not like this, not in front of reality, she cut in. Or in front of your son. Mason was still standing there, frozen between all of us, his eyes moving from face to face like he was trying to wake up from something that wouldn't end. Grandpa's sick, he said quietly. That's what matters. Vanessa shook her head. What matters is what happens next. I pushed my chair back slowly. No one tried to stop me. That was the first thing I noticed. Not Daniel, not Mason, not even out of instinct. I stood there for a second, steadying myself. Not from weakness, but from the weight of it all finally settling in. I think, I said, my voice calm in a way that surprised even me. I've overstayed. Dad, Daniel started, but I raised a hand, just slightly, and he stopped. That was the second thing I noticed. I reached for my coat, the same one she'd looked at like it was something dirty. Slipped it on, slow, careful. Mason took a step toward me. Grandpa, wait. It's okay, I said softly. You stay. His eyes filled, but he didn't move again. Vanessa watched me the whole time, not angry, not even satisfied, just certain. like this had always been the ending she planned. I picked up the envelopes from the table, folded them together, tucked them under my arm. Then I looked at Daniel, one last time. He looked smaller somehow, not like a man with a house and a family, just smaller. I meant what I said, I told him. I wasn't going to ask. He swallowed, but no words came. Of course they didn't. There was nothing left in him to give. I nodded once, more to myself than to him. Then I turned, walked past the kitchen, past the hallway, past the framed photos on the wall, birthdays, vacations, smiles that suddenly didn't feel like mine anymore. My hand reached the front door, paused, just for a second, and from behind me, I heard something, a voice, low, urgent. Not Vanessa, not Mason, Daniel. And what he said next made my hand tighten on the handle. If this story meant something to you, subscribe. There's more to come.